Blessings and welcome. I am Tuesday May Thomas, and this is your weekly tarot energy forecast for November 23rd through December 1st of 2017. Thank you, new subscribers, for joining me. I'm so very grateful. Please do hit the bell once you've subscribed, and that way you will be notified of my upcoming videos as they are released. And thank you, everyone, for your support with my live streams, which happen every Thursday morning live here on my YouTube channel. I'm so very grateful. This week on Thanksgiving, I will be recording the 23rd of November, and our topics are faith, gratitude, and prayer. We'll be breaking down the metaphysics of how these qualities, these values, these practices influence our life and help us to live the life that we love. So thank you so very much for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to take a deep breath and shuffle into the cards, calling into our ancestors to join us, our ascended masters, guardian angels, all those light beings that hold space for us through all those light realms. We call you in that you may open the way and lead the way with your divine light, assisting us to receive the revelations, the divine messages that will be guided through this reading. We call in our tarot animals, we call in our totem animals, and we thank you so much for holding space, for guiding us, for serving us so beautifully. I ask that love and light of the universe, oh my goodness, channel through me and offer the most high love and light messages that we may all receive here and now. So everyone, a huge chunk of the cards fell out, so pardon me a moment. Okay, so it's quite a chunk, so what we're going to do is I'm guided to hold on to these, but I'm also guided to take a few out of these and a few out of the larger chunk that was left. So let's keep shuffling, and we'll keep asking our divine guides. What I do when I do these readings is I sign myself into the keynote, the aggregate mean keynote of everyone who will be joining us through all time and space, through all dimensions, and in that way allow a channeling for the highest good, that the messages serve everyone, everywhere who is guided to join us. Okay, so we had 3 cards that fell. I'm guided to do 1 more card here, and then 2 from the larger deck. We thank you, our angels. Okay, oh, we got 3. Okay, then we're going to make it 1 from the large deck that was left. We thank you so very much, our divine guardians. Ah, there it is. The guardian speaks. Okay. Woo! This is so exciting. Okay, we have a few repeats from before, but this is really, really powerful. So if you remember last week, the message at the very end of the reading was about becoming one as the creator that you are in your life, but also relaxing into your life and practicing being ordinary, right? Not trying too hard at making things happen, but just really relaxing, creating the correct conditions within yourself. This is a card of fire. This is the creator. This 3rd chakra is on fire in this person. It is a masculine quality, and it is that action that is not doing in the world. Right? We're not doing things in the world to get something from the world, but we are aligning and we are creating the correct conditions within ourselves, mind, body, emotions, with spirit, with that beautiful blueprint of the hologram of your truth that is your spirit, that is your soul, that allows all good things to come to us. And what I love is that right next to him is her. Okay? Turning in. And what do we always say here? Meditate, meditate, meditate. Meditate. This is a practice that becomes a lifestyle. This is a quality of life, turning in, taking time to settle the mind, taking time to honor the emotions, to purify as you're guided, and then to allow those little mini healings that happen in our meditation to be so that we can move on and be at one. If you look around this individual's head, there are all of these shapeshifters, these spirits, these faces, these ghosts, these ghouls, or these beings, and really they're just voices in our head, those voices that continually can drive us crazy, telling us to go left, to go right, to do this, to do that. And we can often become just so overwhelmed and not know which way to go, not know what to do. And here, turning in is the power that allows us to connect to the one, that connects us to the source, that bridges the gap between the physical and the spiritual, that allows us to have that connection. Look at this divine fine line that goes straight up from the crown, almost through the parting of her hair, straight up to source. And what's the next card? Source. I love this. I love this when this happens. So it's this fire, fire, fire energy, and it's burning so powerfully. This is the second chakra. This is the third chakra. And this is what he's all about. And what she brings, this beautiful balance and alignment to. So this week, there is this really integral power about you honing in to your spiritual practices, to you really allowing them to show you who you are. Who are you? You know, I did this practice on the new moon recently on November 8th. And I haven't done any kind of thing like this in a long, long time, but I wrote down, you know, you write down your intentions, you read it every day until the full moon, then you burn it or you bury it or you rip it up or whatever you want to do, put it in your journal, whatever have you. And I haven't done anything like that in a very, very long time because I have given my life to God, to love, and I've just been allowing that divine source to guide me in every day. Yet, there is this beautiful thing that we remember once we've detached and we allow ourselves to be led and guided by Source. Of course, we can hone it in and we can say, you know, I really feel XYZ. And what I realized is that my intention is not to be something, is not to gain something, but, and check it out, to be more of myself. My intention is to be me. That was such a mind blower. I was like, what? I was writing it down in my little letter that I'm going to, that I've been reading every day. And my higher self just wrote it out. And I was like, drop the mic. That is so powerful. My intention, my work is to be me, to be more of myself. So I invite you to that quality, to that power this week, because you know what? This is your truth. And interesting, I teach about the chakras, and I am writing a book on the chakras. I'm writing a book on everything, as you know, if you follow me. And soon they'll all be out. I'm so excited to share with you. But it's going to be a minute before the chakra one is out. But what I will tell you is that the teachings I share are your second chakra holds your here I am. And your here I am is directly connected to your truth in your heart. But it's down in your butt, and it's down in your belly, I want to say. Down in your gut, in that like deeper part of your core, that sanctum, that sacred space. You know deep in your gut who you are, what your truth is. And whenever we sit and we meditate and we allow ourselves to tune in away from all the voices of like, you should be a lawyer and why don't you make more money and whatever the world tells us or our family tells us or all that stuff or just all that distraction in our mind, when we find that still point and we listen, often we will have those revelations of truth that come, and her skirt is made of water. There is a purifying element with the turning in. It is a water element card. So sometimes there's a little purge, a little grieving of tears that come through in our meditations, in our places of stillness and silence, or doing a yoga class, and at the end in Savasana you're kind of like weeping because it's a release. It's a release because then what's there under all the voices, under all the things that are in the world distracting us, pulling us one way or another? Your truth, your here I am that's in your gut, that resides in your heart. Your truth, the source of you, is calling you this week. It's loud and clear. Last week, we were prepping. We were getting the little hand pat on our shoulder saying, yes, you're doing well, you're doing great, keep going, keep creating the correct conditions. You are the creator, you are the co-creator of your life's experience with Source. And here's Source. Source is showing up and Source is saying, I'm here. So get clear. Get clear, number one, so that you can hear those divine offerings, right? So you can hear your here I am. What does your here I am say? I always think about the here I am as being like this little part of us, this little being that's inside our second chakra. And when we tune in and we get quiet enough to listen, that it's almost like, here I am. Here I am. And it's kind of like jumping up like, hey, 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 here I am, And if we tap it, that's great. We're like, oh my God, that's my here I am. That's what it is. That's what it is. But sometimes we don't get it right away. But our here I am is constantly there. And so creating the correct conditions so that you can tune in, turn in, tune in, and get the download, get the inload so you can implode, right? Your truth. Now, from the second chakra into the third chakra is your I am here. So your I am here is where we're moving that realization of the here I am into the 3D, where it's not just an idea in the gut, it's not just a notion in your belly, but you're actually in the world exercising those levels of reality for yourself. You're saying yes to that truth, and you're saying bring it on. You're saying my intention is to be more of myself. I don't know what that means, but here I am. And I'm allowing it. Or maybe you do know what it means, but I hope you know what I mean in sharing that message. This is so powerful. Again, we have the balance of the masculine and the feminine. And this is, and because there's 2 fire cards, the creator and source, I mean, we are like, whether you're male or female, right? The divine feminine within is saying, keep the balance, keep turning in, allow yourself those little purges, those little emotional releases to clear the slate. And either side of us, we have these fire cards that are just holding space for us, that are burning off the dross of all the illusion that's not true anymore for you. They're helping to create space and clarity for us to really sit with, be with, and honor our here I am. So what is your here I am this week? November 24th through December 1st. Sit, be open, acknowledge. And, this has been a theme that's been coming up a lot with some friends on social media. And by the way, I don't do Facebook and I don't do Twitter, but I love Instagram and I love, obviously, YouTube. Those 2 platforms are like my dearest platforms. So please follow me on Instagram. It's so much fun. If you're into social media at all, I dig it. I get it if you're not. But if you are, my Instagram is always going to be in the description box below in these videos. So going back to allowing, it is a feminine, it is a goddess energy, right? It's not the masculine. And I know we've been through this before in prior readings, but I'm going to rehash for us. It is the feminine quality, again, of creating the correct conditions within ourselves so we can tune out all of those voices, all of those faces, all of those people that are saying to do this and to do that, whether it's the world, family, society. We create the correct conditions so that we can tune in to that divine source, become one with our here I am, with your innate truth. And by creating the correct conditions, being the creator and creating the correct conditions within us, what happens is all things come to you. All good comes to you. Divine opportunities, divine appointment comes to you. And then you get to choose yes or no, or maybe later. Okay? The thing about it is that as you operate from first that place of the divine feminine, again, whether you're male or female, you are creating the correct conditions so that you can be receptive, so that you can hear and download those divine affirmations of self, those divine affirmations of truth, so that when it's time to say yes, no, maybe, or yes, you hit the target with the arrow and you do not miss. You hit the bullseye. Boom! You get it. Without having to, in the more masculine energy, hit it with the hammer over and over and over and over again. You got it? Okay, we're good. So, beautiful. Now, we do have some interesting things coming up here underneath this, which is interesting that it's the row underneath, because that's all the subconscious stuff, right? That's all the stuff that's bubbling in our DNA and in our unconscious levels of beliefs and of beings that can, on one level, hold us back, but that also have our back. That the unconscious subconscious is the level where those ancient beliefs are stored, where all of the world, the info we get from the world, is stored. And it can either hold us back if we believe that we can't do it, that we're not good enough, that we have old wounds that we're still working to heal, or just the fears of the world on top of us. It can blind us. It can create a buffer zone between us and our full power and authority. But also, what I believe about the subconscious and unconscious is that it holds the truth. So the same as your here I am in your gut, and the same as the truth in your heart, your unconscious, your subconscious, those DNA level truths of you cannot be messed with. They are the truth. So underneath all of the tape recordings that the subconscious, just doing its job, just records and brings on board, we filter through them. That's why we meditate, so that we unravel those recordings like a mummy. We unravel all those untruths so we can get back to source, get back to our truth. because the truth is always within you. The truth is always here. It's always, always here, right within you. So it is interesting though, because as we unravel our here I am and move it into the third chakra to our I am here and begin to embody it, the mind is going to want to have a field day, and it's going to want to, tell us everything wrong with us, everything wrong with our ideas about ourselves, and all the reasons why it's a no instead of a go. Okay? That's why we turn in, create the correct conditions so that we can be reminded of the truth and be empowered with a life force energy, with a chi, with a prana, with that divine source, that God source, whatever name you give it, to empower us to have the courage and the bravery. That's third chakra, second chakra as well, is that courage and that bravery in the world to say yes to yourself and to embody the truth in your heart. So why I'm getting to this is because often it is just a thing of life that when we start to say yes to ourselves, yes, we bump into those old paradigms. We bump into all those parts of ourselves that say no. And usually it's all the stuff in the mind that can drive us crazy. But what in the mind is yours and is your truth, and what in the mind is just the stuff of the world, is something your dad told you when you were 4. You're never going to make it, you're worthless, you're whatever all the signature concepts could be that you're holding in that subconscious realm. They're going to be bubbling up because you're going to be holding space for yourself and doing the work. And where you bring in more light, the darkness cannot hang out. So that darkness is going to be on the rise and leaving, but en route, it's going to try to mess with your mind. So your job this week is to keep meditating, because we had this last week, silence. This is a major arcana card. And you know what's on the opposite side? We do have one more card in the middle I'll get to here shortly, but is no-thingness. These are power cards. These are major arcana cards. Silence and no-thingness. Silence, the third eye. Being quiet on purpose. No, I used to have a yoga teacher that I love, Ruth Lawler, at Jiva Mukti in New York way back in the day. And she studied with the Ashtangi, Patabi Joyce. And she used to go, when he was alive, she used to go back and forth to India all the time to continue her studies and be a student with him. And she would say that he had this thing that he would say when the students would be like, "Teacher, I can't stop thinking. I'm just like, I'm driving myself crazy." And he would say, "No thinking." And they'd be like, "But how do I do no thinking?" And he would just be like, "No thinking," and it would be like this riddle. But that's what silence is. It's getting to a place of peace. And sure, we can do work, we can do energy tools, we can do things to help collapse those thoughts that can drive us crazy, take us one direction here, one direction there. But ultimately, it is your continual practice and participation in sitting, in meditation, and allowing yourself to create a blueprint, to create a strata within your body, within your mind that says yes to stillness, that says yes to silence. If you don't do that, then your body-mind will have a harder time accepting those places when they come, when you don't try. So, in other words, there are times in our life where quiet happens, where silence happens, where the divine blessing of just stillness, where all of a sudden there's no cars on the highway, all of a sudden there's no sound of traffic on the street, all of a sudden there's not even a bird singing, and there's just this like stillness, this zero, this silence. Sometimes when that happens, we are so used to all of the hubbub in our own minds and all of the technology in our hands and in our head that we need to disturb the silence. It can be hard to just sit still in silence and allow ourselves to be enveloped in that place. It makes me think about, I had this one student in a meditation class, and she got so freaked out because the meditation was like really powerful, and she said she started to go in, but she stopped herself because of a past experience she had whereby she was in the bathtub with a candle relaxing, and she said she got so relaxed. She had never had that level of relaxation before, and she got so deeply relaxed that she disappeared for like a split second, and she got so freaked out that she like woke herself up, and she was like, no, 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 no. And she came back out. She was afraid to just be still, to just be silent, she was afraid to disappear. Don't be afraid to disappear this week, right? And there was a word this morning, and I couldn't think of it. It's not dismantle, it's like dissolve, where we dematerialize. That's it. What's happening right now is we are with opportunities. If you believe in this stuff, where the more that we attune with source, with grace, with love, with God, with light, the more we're saying yes to those qualities within us. And again, what do? They come in and they churn out the stuff of the mind that is not truth, so that we can come back into being one and zero with truth. But we only get there through a practice of being silent and still. Being silent and still, and it's becoming comfortable with those silent places and spaces within ourselves and in the surroundings, that we learn how to acclimate to that finer frequency. And that's the work this week, because what we see is we acclimate to this finer frequency through our practices, through our meditation. And I do have a meditation playlist. I'll put it here if it's new to you, okay? There's all sorts of meditations on there. What happens is we go into this realm. This is what this girl, she freaked out because she lost her identity. She lost her identity this week. It's about losing your identity. Going back to no-thingness. You are no-thing, like starting from there. Not having any ideas figured out, not having anything figured out, giving it to source, allowing yourself to drop so deeply into your own core, into your own belly, into your own heart, that the truth that is there is that which rises and inspires you and motivates you from a level of authentic, integral capacity versus what the world thinks you should be, or even what you think you should be that may be not in harmony with your truth. So we come back as we sit and we become silent and we create those correct conditions within ourselves. We realize no-thing, which means we realize the void. We realize this blank slate that we are. And from that blank slate, we say, it is my intention to be myself. Without knowing what that is and allowing ourselves to be showed what that is. Through our meditations, through our journaling, through our turning in, through our being in nature, through our taking that bath with the candle, through getting a few friends together and having like a weekly meditation. And in fact, I feel like perhaps in the new year, we're going to start doing that. Maybe, I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm feeling guided that maybe we'll start to do some live stream meditations. So stay in tune for that. So this is beautiful because you know what the last card in the reading is, and I keep looking over at the large deck that I said maybe we're going to do one more card, because the card that's sitting right on top, and he's just looking at us, so I'm going to show you, is the Master. Woo! This is the card in the whole deck. Look at the diamond. It is a diamond of the major arcana, yet there's no number, there's no symbol, there's no sign in it, because it just is. There's nothing that could be a symbol for this being that you are, that I am, that we are together, because it's no thing. And when it's no thing, as we become, there is space for everything. Before we get a little deeper into the Master, this is just so beautiful. So as we go through these layers and these levels of mind and unraveling like that mummy, fabric, like what is ours, what's not ours, listening to that, to your integral here I am, to your integral heartfelt divine guidance, and having the courage to just even sit with that and be with that and allowing that, whatever it is, because it could be a complete 180 that your life may have to take in order for you to courageously say yes to that. So even just sitting and contemplating with that is enough often. But look at what's here for us, this divine abundance. So I see not only the prosperity of that maturity that we've been going through for several weeks, of that coming into your new level of power, your new level of prosperity within that comes from you knowing you, know thyself. If there's anything, if I had like one sentence to teach, it would say, know thyself. That's the true abundance. That's the true gift. The book underneath it is your book of life. Journal more, write your feelings out more. And maybe you do that by drawing pictures or sigils or sacred geometry, mandalas. Maybe you write songs, maybe you write poetry, but get back into picking up the pen and the pad, because the pen and the pad, as a writer myself, as an author, I find that there's a different muse, a different guide that comes through when I write. When I write with a paper and a pencil, it's a different voice. When I write with a pen and a notepad, it's a different voice. When I record my voice and I get an idea or an insight and I'm recording it, that's a different channel. When I record these videos, it's like a different channel. It's amazing. But so this week, this guidance in the abundance is saying, like, pick up a pen or a pencil, open a journal, get a notebook and start doodling, start writing, start engaging in your feelings, and especially because your here I am and your I am here is such a theme this week. I believe it's about that. And look at this, the sun and the moon. Again, coming back to these beautiful qualities of the creator and the turning in, the divine feminine and the divine masculine in balance. And that's what abundance is, right? And actually, one of my definitions of abundance is I do what I want, when I want, where I want. And so it is. And with that, of course, there's always an attunement and alignment with the highest good and serving source, serving the highest good. But once that's in alignment, the world is your oyster. You can have anything you want. You can do anything you want, but are you allowing yourself to? You can say, but that's all the mind. In fact, I've done my best. Over years, I'm slowly starting to take the word but out of my vocabulary, and I'm replacing it with yet or though or and sometimes I still say the word but, especially if I'm talking about your backside booty. though I'm learning to change the vocabulary, and I invite you to do the same. So abundance is yours this week. And this is a very deeply grounding card. Look at him. He's relaxed. And here in the States, we have Thanksgiving. He's maybe had a really nice meal. He's chilling. He might be having a smoke. He's just relaxing. And really, that's it, relaxing. And not having to figure everything out. Being a blank canvas. Knowing the truth in his heart. Knowing the truth in her heart. Knowing that you are honoring your truth with your choices, with your thoughts, with the direction you allow and guide your life to go, and letting the rest go, giving it to God, giving it to Source, and allowing the highest good to take place. And that's the master. That's the master within you. That's Osho. It's a picture of Osho. And I know these cards are a little old. They're about 20 years old, but that's Osho. And that's our silence card, the moon. I believe we have a full moon. Oh, it's not until December 3rd. Okay. Anyway, those lunar energies, again, so isn't this interesting? The moon, and even though this is a male figure, Osho, the master, remember the qualities of the divine feminine. That's what we're going for. We're going for the embodying of that which allows, of that which trusts, so that we can be clear and receive the divine insights of the Most High, and from there make choices and move our energy in a direction effortlessly. It's an effortless life when we surrender and we give way to the silence and the stillness. We give way to not having everything figured out, to allowing ourselves to dematerialize, that we may rematerialize as our divine creator, as the divine source being that we are, in our greatest abundance. All of the rainbows, all of the colors of the rainbow, and embodying the master. Being the master is fully attuned to their intuition, is fully attuned to Source, is fully attuned to the truth in their heart. And that's where we're invited to go this week. I'm so very excited. I'm so very excited. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I'm so grateful. Again, a live stream will be up. Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for watching, for commenting, for sharing, for giving a thumbs up, and for subscribing. All of those little things make such a difference. They help these videos to get into the rankings where they can be seen by more and more people all over the world. And ultimately, it's my gift, and what I love to do is to share these divine teachings through the tarot, through the live streams, through all the different mediums that I have, that we may bridge heaven on earth simply because we can. All of my links are down in the description box below. I have free books. I have books you can buy. And please sign up for my free book, The Higher Self Blueprint of Mastery, at my website, tuesdaymaythomas.com. And that way, you will be joined to my mailing list. I send out 1 or 2 newsletters every week with offerings and teachings and blogs and information about my books. I'm so very grateful to be here with you. Thank you so much. Blessings and namaste.